Are you always tired but you don't know why? Do you feel like you need a rest even after 9 hours of sleep? Well, it could be that you're not resting in the right way. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bri and I'm a pre-qualified psychologist. Today we're going to talk about the 7 types of rests, aka things you can try if you feel always tired. This video is going to be divided into chapters that you can find here. And without further ado, let's get into it. A systematic review that involved more than 600,000 studies found that 20% of adults and 11% of adolescents feel fatigued, whilst chronic fatigue, that is, fatigue lasting for more than 6 months, affected 10% of adults and 1.5% of minors. The reason for this fatigue that apparently affects so many of us could be the stress and demands that we face in our everyday lives. And feeling tired for a long period of time could lead to exhaustion. And exhaustion could lead to another condition that is burnout. Burnout is in fact basically a state of physical and emotional exhaustion caused by prolonged emotional, physical and mental fatigue. And feelings of chronic fatigue could be linked to stress. When we feel stressed, we are in a fight or flight mode as our brain is trying to protect us from an imminent danger. If you want to know more about the fight-flight system, I advise you to watch my video on anxiety that I'm going to leave somewhere here. The important thing here is that the opposite of fight or flight is rest and digest. So the best way to release stress and prevent burnout is resting. But did you know that there are actually 7 types of rest? And maybe the reason why you're always tired is because the rest that you actually need is very different to the one that you're giving to your body. So here are the 7 types of rest. Firstly, we have physical rest, which is divided into passive and active. Passive physical rest includes sleeping, and in fact, good quality sleep is a big part of physical rest. Whilst active physical rest could involve restorative activities such as practicing yoga or getting a massage. In fact, these actions can help you boost recovery from the physical demands of daily life, reducing tensions to your muscles and boosting your energy levels. Then we have mental rest. Mental rest is what you need if you experience constant stream of thoughts that you want to pause. Mindful activities are great for mental rest. And the type of mindful activities that you want to engage in are very much personal. Reading could be a mindful activity, but also swimming, gardening, mindful eating, or you could just engage in some sort of meditative practice. You could also buy a notepad where you can juggle your thoughts throughout the day or before going to sleep, just to free up some space in your mind. Then we have sensory rest. I feel like this is a big one for most of us. We live in a world where we are constantly subject to sensory stimulation. Screens, light, sounds, all of this can be overwhelming. You can take a break from all of this by depriving yourself of sensory inputs. You could use earplugs, an eye mask, you could just spend some time in silence, dimming your lights, and even unplugging from your electronic devices. If you have the possibility of doing so, you could also try sensory deprivation tanks. There are some spa, for example, that offer this kind of service. Then we have creative rest. Creative individuals that constantly need new ideas, but also problem solvers will particularly need this type of rest. The consequence of being tired from a creative point of view could be to have something called like the artist block or the writer's block. So what you could do, instead of creating your own art, you can go out and appreciate the art and beauty around you. This could be in nature, to an art gallery, but even like reading a book. All these activities will allow you to be inspired by the world around you, spark your ideas, enhance your problem-solving skills, and bring you joy. You can't expect to have new ideas if you're just sitting in front of a blank Word document all day. By the way, the majority of people that watch my videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. You can fix this by hitting the subscribe button below. And as I'm really just starting on this YouTube journey, it will really help my channel grow. So thank you very much if you do it. Then we have emotional rest. And this is for all the people pleasers out there. Feeling emotionally drained is a consequence of prioritizing other people's needs instead of our own. So, to engage in emotional rest, you need to start putting yourself first. You need to set healthy boundaries and express your emotions in a healthy way. In fact, this is all about being honest with other people about your feelings, but also being honest with yourself about when it's time for you to step away from a situation that is emotionally draining for you. Emotional rest can lead to an increased emotional intelligence, better relationships, and a greater sense of inner peace. The sixth type of rest is social rest. You might need this if you constantly feel tired after going out with certain people. Social rest is one of the hardest ones because it requires you to evaluate honestly your relationships. You need to start understanding who fills your cup and who drains the life out of you. Social rest is all about cutting the social vampires from your life as soon as possible and surround yourself with positive and supportive people. Social rest can help you build stronger and more fulfilling relationships whilst also improving your mood and your outlook on life. And finally, the seventh type of rest is spiritual rest. This involves finding meaning and purpose in activities beyond your daily routine. Spiritual rest is about increasing our sense of belonging, love, acceptance, and purpose. Each one of us will be able to engage in this type of rest in a different ways depending on own personal beliefs and personal sense of purpose. We'll be engaging in the religious activities like reading a religious textbook or going to church if you're Christian, for example. But for other people, it could be engaging in some sort of meditative practice or community involvement. The important thing is that you find something that provides you with a sense of calm and a renewed perspective on life. So these are the 7 types of rest. Obviously, the one that you will mostly need will depend on your personal circumstances and on maybe which type of rest you have neglected a little bit lately. But ideally, we should engage in all these 7 types of rest at least once a week. In conclusion, the stress that we feel in our everyday lives can lead to us feeling fatigued and even exhausted. All of this can lead to burnout. To prevent burnout, there are 7 types of rest we can engage in. Ideally, we should try to incorporate different types of rest in our everyday life, but we could also start by looking at our individual circumstances and try to understand which type of rest we need the most. And this brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, you can leave a thumbs up or leave a comment, as it really helps the algorithm apparently. As usual, I'm going to leave some references and further readings in the description box below, where you will also find my website and my socials. If you like this video, you might also like my latest video on finding the right motivation to work out helpful, which I'm going to leave somewhere here and on the end screen. And that is really all for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!